Deep house is one of those genres that you appreciate as you grow older. So today we are going to make a deep house like pros, like this.
I like the way you're going down in it, down in it, drowning it, going down in it, down in it, drowning it, going.
When it comes to deep house, there are many ways to do it, and to be honest, I like each one of them. But today, I want to do the cream and butter version deep house. Like, we will have a vocal, we will track around it, and play for the vibes. When I start, I always start with at least a chord progression type of thing, but starting with the kick and bass progression really helps a lot. So we will start like that. For the kick, I like smooth kicks. I have a whole pack about it, but pick something like this. It is mid-long kick, and we are gonna actually brighten up slightly, right? Depending on the bass, actually you can shorten it a bit more, but we will see about that. And for the deep house, I really like this like kick thumb type of groove. The way I like to do it, just take your kick sample, shorten it out, keep it short, and then just use an EQ to take the like this mid-low part of the sound so that you have this like warm sound, but still transient enough so that it can pop in the mix. The placement doesn't matter. I prefer to put them on the offbeat like this. You can build any pattern you like. For the bass, I like this kind of perfect fifth layered bass sounds a lot in deep house. I think it gives whole tone of a vibe. We are in the D sharp minor, so let's start with 8 bass. What that means, there's just 8 basses in a bar. Dum 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 dum. It's not a rolling bass, so it will give more like a smoother feeling. So we have this now. So it is kind of a big sound, but let me explain a bit more. So the sound-wise, if I turn this to off, we will just have our sub. This gives the sub, so this is the reason that the sound will be relatively stable. But that harmonic feel on the sound comes from these two. If I solo this one, this is like 1 octave up, and this is in the same octave. So what happens is, we are using sync to get those upper harmonics, the power harmonics of the sound, like here. Let me just solo these two so you can actually hear the effect of only one note sound. Right? And here around. And then we do the same thing over here. Let me turn this off so you can hear this. This is much higher. And this gives like this signature deep house bass sound. Listen to this now. If we go to effects, we have a bit distortion, chorus, combo, hyperdynamic. This is coming from my Silk preset pack. There is really nice deep house basses there. And another important thing is that we have the soft envelope on cutoff. And also the volume envelope has this slight decay. So we have this really strong sound, right? This is the core of the sound. We have, of course, on unison on top layers to open up the sound on the sides. But the sound is a bit stereo too. And then from there, we want to open up space for the kick. So I'm using DUC for it. You can use any sidechain tool that you like. Now, the main reason I'm using Saturn here is not really that much of distortion, but pushing those upper harmonics up. You see, this is pulled up around 4 dB. So these like mid-highs. Right? This really pushes that feel. And we are on the linear phase to keep the phase intact. And finally, you could even more boosting. This is a signature deep house bass. This is like everywhere, and I love this sound for it. Now, I like to layer this with another higher bass layer. The way I like to use that oftentimes in deep house is actually start with the simple bass layer and then add additional high layer with the verses and choruses to add a bit dimension to the bass itself. The way we are going to do it, actually taking exactly the same sound but removing this sub and put this 1 octave above. So we have now this, right? And together this turn into this. And then you always control how much you will add that upper layer with just mixing. It can become a bit too much when the bass is alone, But when the layers comes in, the percussions, the kicks, or the snares, the vocals, you will hear how much difference this can make. Now, when it comes to bass, what I like to do, I need kind of a bass progression to at least inspire me or something. If you feel like you're gonna try these, please consider like and subscribe so I can show you more of these. Let's start with the classic 6-4-0, meaning that if we take a look at our root key, D sharp, 6 means that 6 not above, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you go to 4th, and then you go back to the root. This will create this kind of decreasing tension, relaxing feeling. It's a very deep house thing, right? Now we have this. With the kick. That immediate burst of deep house feeling. Now, when I make this type of tracks, the tracks has to evolve around the vocals. Hence, I like to bring the vocals as early as possible. You can either use the samples from Splice, your vocalist friends, AI, whatever you like. In this case, I want Splice hunting and found this.
Down in it, drowning it. I like the way you're going down in it. Down in it, drowning it.
That's it. And I think for a deep house track, you oftentimes don't even need more than this because you want repetition and you want hookiness. And this is very hooky vocal. Maybe on the breakdown you can use some ad-libs. But for me, for this type of tracks, this is really good. The only thing that I don't like, and this is a very common producer pitfall, is like producers will put like this.
I like the way you're going down in it.
For me, it is so obvious, like the vocal is actually recorded as it is, but I think the beat should come after the first bar, like this.
I like the way you're going down in it.
Do you hear it? It is so obvious, at least for me. So when you are picking vocals, like try to really listen where the beat should sink into the vocal. Like when you do this,
I like the way you're going down in it.
you are elevating that. I cannot stress this enough. Like when I say this, really try to really pay attention. You're a composer and your job is to elevate the elements that you are using, especially the main elements. In this type of tracks, the vocals. I know a lot of producers think that they are producers, they have to find the best leads or sounds. No, as a producer, your job is, when you have the vocals like this, is to elevate the main theme as much as possible, right? And for me, this
Down in it, down in it.
that down in it, drown in it, it is the thing. It is the hook. So how we can elevate? Of course, just move that. And this immediately gives me an idea because now I'm thinking, oh wait, this could be an extremely good intro. Why? Because let's move this a bit more here now. And then I can bring immediately, forget that kick, bring that bass in. So like this.
I like the way you're going down in it.
Oh my God, immediately, right? Now, when you have ideas like this, and hopefully you will have it, when you find the right things and you get into the right flow, it will click like this. You will like, oh, that, or this, and that. And arrangement resolves itself. That gives me immediately, I want to build that intro now because now I can make a really catchy intro to grab attention of my listeners. Now I have the things that I need to have. But I need to create the ambience to give that deep house, that deep ethereal ambience for the listeners. But the first thing I think is, of course, the pads. Let's bring those pads. Let's create pads. I really feel like organic sounds, like guitars or guitar-like sounds, or like organ-like sounds, like the sounds that you will hear it in organic music really adds a depth and layer for this genre. So this preset that I found, again coming from Silk preset pack, I cannot stress enough, this is one of the best packs you can find for Melodic House and Deep House. The idea is like simple, finding this kind of organic sound. This was, by the way, another spectral, but I was just scrolling through to find more guitar-like sound, so we have this. This is just the only thing that I changed in this patch. So we are holding that guitar sound and adding bunch of effects to create this really deep, haunting ambience. And a bit EQ, cut that super lows out, so it's more like even drone. And then sidechain the kick, slightly. Gorgeous, really gorgeous. Now, what it hits me is like, oh my God, my vocal is dry. I want this big deep house vocals on top. Before I do that, I'm gonna make one more pad because I know when the vocals comes in, it will take too much space. Creating this simple, elegant sounds under it, it's harder when you have big vocals. So let's get another string-like pad here. And remember, I'm just playing one single note, and it is the root key D sharp. We can also sometimes play the fifth, third, but now I think to make the focus on the vocals, this is more than enough. And we have this sound now. Again, of course, you know it coming from Silk. This is more like a more airy, more like stringy, a little bit vocally, so together they are like this. Right? And this in turns into this.
Going down in it, drowning in it.
Is it enough? No, because we need to work out on our vocal now. The deep house vocals tend to this less airy, beautiful. What is the right word for this? Like a majestic, right? Majestic is the right word. So how do we do this? We have a single vocal. We don't have any extra takes, so we need to create everything from single vocals. You can use AI. I have videos about that, but I'm gonna do it the old school way now. I'm gonna start with the timeless.
I like the way you're going down in it.
I know it's very like big and interfering a bit with the main vocal. To decrease that, we are ducking a little bit. This is the timeless own feature. Otherwise, you have to put a sidechain compression on top of itself so that it ducks the effect when the vocal comes in.
I like the way you're going down.
And then we can have a huge reverb. I'm using vintage reverb.
I like the way you're going down in it.
This classic long tail reverb right on top of the vocal. Now we have these really air vocals here. And I want to dump a little bit here. To support this, we are going to actually duplicate the same vocals, but we are going to use chorus as introducing that slight pitch shift and pushing the sound to its side so that there is a depth and full listeners there are more than one vocals simply. The same vocals, we are using chorus D. I like this one because I think this works really well on vocals and 100% wet. Now we have this.
I like the way you're going down.
Vocal really pushed to the sides.
I like the way you're going down.
And now when it comes to effects, it really depends on what you want. You can really use it as dry as well because if you blend them.
I like the way you're going down in it, drowning in it.
Without?
I like the way you're going down in it,
It's really good, isn't it? That's the reason I really like that specific plugin from Arturia. It just works amazing. Depending on your feel, depending on how it sounds in the track, you can add even those sides, a bit of reverb. The main thing I like to do oftentimes, introduce a bit of overdrive.
I like the way you go.
So glue those two vocals into each other.
I like the way you're going down in it.
This is something that we are going to show later. And let's see how it sounds, right? Again, don't use too much effects if it doesn't need it. Let's listen.
I like the way you're going down in it, drowning in it. I like the way you go.
Now, our work with the vocal doesn't end here. So I'm immediately feeling like, I don't like this part coming again. I want to hold that down in it, down in it, that part longer. So we're just going to copy that part.
Down in it, drowning in it.
Right?
Going.
Hold that going here.
Going down in it, drowning in it. Going.
Right, there you go. The track build. This is what I mean. This type of tracks really builds themselves and there's really kind of joy to make them. But I'm feeling like now, when the second part comes in here,
Going down in it.
here's the part that we start to build a bit with maybe percussions, like making that change. We can put simple hats here. Again, 8 hats. We don't need to rush anything like this. Shaper box adds this dirt on it. Without it, with EQ, and finally duck. Really slightly to making a bit more on-beat, off-beat feeling a bit more obvious. Slightly ducking here, right? I want kind of this like organic percussion style sound on top of this too. So in type of rib sound. So we have this. I want to clip a bit slightly. Remove that low end mud. And do the same thing over here, adding a bit noise on top so it sounds more organic. Distort it. Clip one more time. And regain. Now we have this. And then I actually like to build a verse. We can just duplicate what we have, like this, right? And remove these vocals. I think we can layer the hats a bit more, like a 16 type of hats on top, but just following that kind of sound, rather than just straight 16. But it adds to the groove. And we make ad-libs from the vocals, like take those vocals, copy them here. Right? And then because the vocals are so strong, we want to get this, build this verse, get into the vocal, and then get into the maybe arpeggio or something like that. So what you can do, duplicate this one, put in the vocals, and then duplicate one more and build in the lead. So we are kind of A-Bing stuff around. That means that now we have here. Remember that when we do have those switch or turnaround points, we kind of I like to remove the kicks at least in some parts, it maybe double kick over here, right? And high passing the low end in parts, so that turnaround gets a bit stronger. Also, you would like to support them with the transition effects. Like here, I'm already feeling like at the intro here, we can probably put some a white noise, reverse cymbal. So things like this, right? Here when the vocal comes in, a reverse cymbal coming from my effects pack, and then a downward shifter. So it is more emphasized. I like the way you're going down in it, down right? In it. And kind of a build up here with the reverse. Again, everything coming from my effects pack. This downlift is even maybe too much, but it's also a bit genre thing. It is used widely. The final touch is actually now building kind of the secondary hook. Secondary hook in deep house is oftentimes something almost as strong as vocals, but that will carry the track, especially if you go for pop stylish arrangement. So you have these A-B sections where the hook changes, or there are two separate hooks that can actually keep people listening. The reason for this that in pop music, you really want to keep people engaged all the time. In electronic dance music, we have more relaxed arrangement. And deep house, especially if you go for this vocal direction, I feel like it really enjoys that popish arrangement style. If you want to keep people a bit more engaged. So for me, you can use anything, but I like synthesizers. I'm a sound designer. So my idea over here is, what if we go for a chords? I enjoy also this kind of happy chords. What you do now is actually take that chord progression that we have, right? And go for this dotted progression. Like here, what we are doing basically, we are using same progression but adding the second note, here the fifth, and at the end of the turnaround, just introduce something else to add a bit drama. So how does this sound? This sounds like this. Right? It's again very deep house. This is something you would hear a lot. For the sound wise, I'm just laying a couple of different presets. You can either go for this kind of more fuller sound. Let me show the other one first as well. This type of more gentle sounds as well. This will work too. Let me play it for you. Right? But for this one, I'm a more bigger sound girl. So I like a bit bigger sounds. Main idea is this. Right? It's kind of a slightly super soapy short plug sound on top of high plucky sound and one ambient style sound. So together they create this kind of really cool full sound. And we have duck on it to sidechain to kick and a big vintage reverb. Creating this washed out, because we had this vocal with the big washout and we're giving up the same vibe here too. And this really switch up the vibes a lot if you especially support this with kind of build up. kind of really natural builds up into the sound. As usual, this is available on my Patreon. If you want to go deep and really study everything, feel free to go check out there. Unfortunately, remove the supply sound because I don't have rights to distribute that, but the rest will be there. If you have supplies, you can download the same vocal and just put it there and you will have it, okay?
I like the way you're going down in it, down in it, drown in it, going down in it, down in it, drown in it, going.
Now we learned that you can take a look at here. This is also cool.